3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Nittany No Huddle Podcast.
From Philadelphia to Los Angeles
And everywhere in between.
filmed at the Nittany No Huddle studio.
It's Jordo, Zach, and Coach Devin covering all things Penn State football all the time.
This is from 45 and it's blocked. Lions scoop it up. Brad Haley will score.
And here we go.
We are the Nittany No Huddle Podcast, and we are finally back after our 8-month hiatus of hiding in shame after Michigan won a national championship. And I think we at the Nittany No Huddle Podcast would like to apologize for absolutely nothing, because at the time Michigan played Penn State, they did not look like a national championship team. And we will die on that hill, so don't add us. Actually, do add us. That's what you should
please
do.
add us.
Come to the video and add us some more, because we, us being adults, it's nice when you get free rent, and we live rent free apparently in Michigan fans' heads if you're coming back to a video from 6 months earlier to post. That's all I'll say about that. Devin, you got anything on that topic?
Nope. I mean, it's kind of just is what it is. None of us said we were experts. We love Penn State football. So
Yeah, we're just a couple dudes doing a podcast, and shocker, we get things wrong. Yeah.
well, you got scared off Zach, so I guess that's something.
Yeah, no crickets right now. So for those of you who have returned for this year, that's what we got going on. So let's get into it. I know we didn't do a season preview this year. Like I said, we're adults. We got full-time jobs. So we're here. We're going to preview the West Virginia game in Morgantown. I'm very excited for this game, to be honest. I really enjoy when we go play other teams that we typically haven't played in a consistent basis in a long time. And I mean, I've always liked Morgantown. So I really wish I could actually get out there to go see the game. But unfortunately, I just moved. So that's not an option this weekend. But I will be watching the game very closely. Devin, where do you want to start off with Penn State football in general? Anything to start the year off, and then we can dig into the actual game this weekend preview.
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, like you said, it's cool for us to start the season against somebody that's a semi-close rival, somebody that we should be playing on a regular basis. And more importantly, we're starting the season against a real team. I mean, I know the next 2 weeks are against fake teams, but at least we get a Big 12 team, a team that's going to probably fight for 9-10 wins, 8 to 10 wins, I think I would say, looking at their schedule. So it's just good to kind of start our year with a real opponent, and it gives you a gauge right out of the gate of what this Penn State football team can be. And I think back to shit, I just dropped my mouse. I think back to last season, and right away we saw a lot of flaws in that first game, but because we found a way to win and the score didn't look as close as it when you go back and rewatch it, that game was a lot closer than a 23-point win. And in hindsight, we could have taken more from that game than we probably should have. And I think that now we both and Zach and all the other Penn State fans, I think we'll be paying closer attention this year, because this is a big game. It really is.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. I think latest I saw the spread was -8. It's fluctuated between 11 and 6, but I'm a little concerned, to be honest. West Virginia returned a very large, significant part of their team from last year. They have their coach re-signed, so he's not on the hot seat anymore. I think their defense last year led the Big 12, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but not that that's saying much, Big 12. So, yeah, I am a little concerned for this this game. Being on the road, first game, we don't have a warm-up game. I think I dropped. I think I'm good.
Yeah, you're back. Maybe.
Devin, can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I'm hotspotting. I'm hotspotting off my phone because I don't have internet at my new house yet. So that's what we're working with. But yeah, like I was saying, I am concerned for this game. We don't get that, initial cupcake game. We're going on the road to start. It's going to be a tough environment. I think West Virginia fans are ready for it. I know last year, listening to a lot of West Virginia podcasts, they were ready for that game and very disappointed on how it turned out.
Mhm.
I think this year is going to be a lot closer and it's going to be more challenging. Now, us being Penn State, we return most of our team. I'm trying to think through key losses, Olu Fashanu to the NFL. We lost some key players on defense. We got 2 brand new coordinators, both on offense and defense. Tom Allen from Indiana as the defensive coordinator, which will be interesting to see. And then I have no idea how to say Andy's last name. I don't know if you can help me out on that, Devin.
Yeah, I don't know exactly either.
Kotenelaniki? I don't.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's usually where Zach provides his in-depth analysis.
Yeah.
For us there. But from Kansas, and
smart
Kansas's offense last year was amazing. So I'm hoping we can replicate that and maybe see that jump for Drew Aller this year, which a lot of prominent podcasts and websites have been saying, like, this is the year that Penn State fans have been waiting for. This is the 2024 and the 25 season that we're supposed to take that huge jump forward. Now with the new playoff, I think I would be disappointed if we don't make the playoff this year, to be honest.
100% agreed.
So, yeah, that's a step forward, making the playoff. Is it the same as the 4-team playoff? No. Are we going to win the Big Ten? Nah, we could. I don't think I wouldn't say it's on the likely side, personally.
Yeah.
Now, benefits for Penn State this year, our schedule compared to years past is significantly easier than it's been. Really, looking at the schedule, there's probably 4 games I could realistically see us losing. And I think we're only not favored in 2 games this year. So, and maybe only 1. It might only be Ohio State, to be honest.
Honestly, probably 1.
And I think the spread for Ohio State game is only like 2.5 points right now, or something. 2.5 or 3. It's somewhere in between there, or 3.5. But regardless, like, we have a very favorable schedule. The games I'm worried about right now: West Virginia, obviously, Washington at home, but that's the whiteout. Washington's coming on the road from the West Coast. They lost a lot of players on their team.
Yeah.
This is not last year's Washington team. I'll say that.
Right.
A little worried about USC on the road. That's going to be a tough game, I think. I mean, it's tough to say. We haven't seen USC play yet, but I mean, USC could be pretty decent this year. And I don't think them losing Caleb Williams is as detrimental as some people believe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then, the Ohio State game. Do we beat Ohio State finally? I wouldn't bet on it personally.
Yeah, me neither.
But, I'm a Ryan Day hater, so maybe this is the year he gets fired after 3 years of predicting it on my part. But yeah, and then I'm honestly a little bit worried about us going on the road at Purdue, to be honest. Especially if we're ranked. For some reason, Purdue, anytime ranked teams come there, like, they find a way to lose. So
Yeah.
those are really the big ones. And then this week at West Virginia, like, I would not be shocked. And when we get to predictions, we'll go into that a little bit, but I wouldn't be shocked if we lose this opening game, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could be totally wrong, and we come out the gate and absolutely pound the rock like we've wanted to do for years. And we have 2 phenomenal running backs back there. We return Nicholas Singleton, who I would say, I wouldn't say underperformed last year, but it wasn't what I hoped for.
Mhm.
And some of that was scheme, some of that was just us not being great on offense passing, which allowed them to shut the run down against us. And then you also have K-Train, who's just a power running back. And like, man, do I love the way he runs the ball. I don't know how you feel about the two running backs, but I'll turn it over to you to talk about our running backs.
Yeah, I think that both running backs this year have to improve from last season. They both came on to the scene just with unbelievable stats as freshmen. Um, and I think everyone expected them to take huge leaps last year, and they showed it in spurts. But like you said, I think our offense was just so limited last year, especially passing wise and scheme wise. I still to this day say that Yursic's offense needs a mobile quarterback, and Drew Aller is not that guy yet. So under Yurcich, that offense, you couldn't do as many zone reads and option plays that he likes to do, and it ended up hurting Singleton and Allen. Singleton obviously put on some muscle between his freshman and sophomore year, and I don't think he was as fast as he was as a freshman. Not saying that that's a bad thing, because you need speed and size to be a high level quarter or a running back, but I don't think he was quite as explosive as he was. He didn't seem like he could get to the edge as much as he could. I'm sure that was a point of emphasis for him in the offseason, was to make sure that the muscle he put on was in the right places to where he was still as fast as he was as a freshman. And then Katron Allen, I mean, I love Katron Allen. I think he's a bruiser. He can get you that extra couple yards that you need. And whenever Singleton and Allen are used properly, you've got that cliche of a lightning and thunder running back, right? You've got that guy that can hit the holes and blow defenses out of the water. And then you've got the guy that can pound it in near the goal line. Their success obviously relies on our offensive line, and does Drew Aller take a big enough step forward? I think our offensive line is as good as it's been. I think that they will take a big step forward. There wasn't huge concerns with me for the most part last season. And even losing Oli, like I still think we're going to be really good. Obviously, we got Nolan Rucci, the transfer from Wisconsin, from Lancaster area. Shout out Warwick High School, as a redshirt junior now, playing right tackle. I'm really excited to see him wearing blue and white. That's exciting. Should have never went to Wisconsin. Like, how do we lose a kid like that? But that's another story. I mean, Sal Wormley is back. You got Drew Shelton replacing Fashanu at left tackle, who has a lot of experience, and you got that exciting redshirt freshman Javen Williams out of Wyomissing as the backup left tackle. So if Drew Shelton doesn't perform, you've got this huge, huge athletic freshman that is ready to go. So I'm really excited about the offensive line. I think we're going to be able to run the ball whenever we want. Now, my question, and maybe you have a comment for this, Jordan. I don't know Kansas enough from last season to know how heavy run they were. I felt like every time I watched them, they were pass happy. So I'm interested to see, one, I wish Zach was here because he watched a lot of Kansas last year, I feel like. So maybe but I don't know scheme wise. Do you think we're going to run it 30 times on Saturday, tomorrow? Do you think it's going to be a more pass happy offense? And then that kind of leads into Nick's question here. If you think it is going to be more pass happy.
So I will say I watched a decent bit of Kansas last year. A lot of the reason they were pass happy is because they were in shootouts. Their defense was not very good. So
Right.
they were playing from behind or in close games where they couldn't afford to run the ball. And they didn't have the running back room that Penn State has. That's the other thing. They also had extremely mobile quarterback, which their goal was to keep the ball in his hands because he was by far their best player. So getting him to be outside the pocket, a lot of their runs were quarterback runs or read options. I do think we will run the ball a lot. And that's just my take. I don't know. I could see it going either way. It also depends the score line early. But I do think we'll come out the gate and we'll try to establish the run game is what I predict.
I hope
And
so.
I think
I do.
we're going to see a lot more out of the pistol this year, which I'm very excited for because I absolutely love the pistol formation, especially if you get both running backs out there and you can have Katron Allen, that lead pulling block for Singleton. I'm hoping that's what we get to see because Katron Allen can block and he is a big dude, so he can put his helmet down on some guys. And then to your other point, and to Nick, welcome back. Always good to see a familiar face here on the podcast. Wide receiver wise, I think we will see an improvement in wide receiver. I'm hoping Julian Fleming comes into his own. He really didn't do much for Ohio State. And part of that was their depth chart. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you compete with that, right? Like they had like 2 to 3 NFL wide receivers on that team. So not saying Fleming can't make it to the league. He has the natural ability. Can we get him the ball? The other flip side of that is Tyler Warren, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Phenomenal pass catcher. I think he's going to be, I know that doesn't count as a wide receiver. I would expect us to throw to him a lot, personally, especially if we do end up running a lot of pistol formation. I could see him getting open, and I think he's my key player to watch for this game, how we utilize him. And can Allen or Drew Aller take that step and get comfortable making more risky throws? Because that was the big issue last year. Remember, like everything was safe. I mean, I know I was very critical on Drew Aller last year, but he only threw 2 interceptions the whole season. Like that's how you win games, not turning the ball over. And I mean, that's why we won 10 games last year. Part of the reason. And our defense was very good last year. So I do think the difference maker at wide receiver is going to be Julian Fleming. We also, we have Clifford as well. I think he could develop. He's pretty speedy. It's just tough to tell without seeing them play a game at all this year. It really comes down to Drew Aller, really. And can our wide receivers actually get separation? Because that was a lot of the issue last year as well. But yeah, I really hope we see the running backs take the lead. Let's pound the rock, tire out the defense, open up the pass game, and then hopefully take some shots deep. But that's my take on that. I hope I answered Nick's question. I hope I answered your question, Devin.
Yeah. And the other wide receiver that I think is, I don't know. I feel like he's poised for a breakout season. Is Harrison Wallace. Like I think he had a good offseason from everything I've read. And I think he's going to be a target because I think everyone's going to look at Julian Fleming and be like, okay, here's a guy from Ohio State who underperformed but did good things at times, comes to his home school. They're going to use him a lot. And then, like you said, I think Tyler Warren is one of the best tight ends in the country. So people are going to be aware of them. I think Harrison Wallace could be a sleeper. And honestly, Penn State needs him to be because he has got to take that next step forward. The other name, I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't have any insider knowledge. We're just 2 dudes sitting at home. But I think Mekhi Flowers making that transition back to wide receiver that he played so well in high school, I think there's a purpose there. And he's already listed as number 2 on the X depth chart. I think he's going to see some playing time. And I think he is so athletic that he might be someone to keep an eye on. Again, I have no insider knowledge. He may never touch the field all season. But it seems odd to me that they switched him over to wide receiver from safety, and he's already listed as second on the depth chart. So he's a name I'm looking out for. Again, he's kind of local to where we are at or where we're from in Harrisburg, and I think he's somebody to keep an eye on.
Which high school did he go to? For those who don't know,
I think he went to CD East. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, but I can't.
Some of those schools they kind of blend together, and kids transfer a lot. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure he went to CD East.
Yeah. I will say Flowers. I utilized him a lot on NCAA 25. So
there you go.
He's got speed. I can tell you that based off the video game. So I've yet to see him in person, but I'm excited for our offense. I think we have a lot of upside. I mean, we can't perform much worse than last year, knock on wood, you know?
Yeah.
Um, it I think new offensive coordinator, there's gonna be some growing pains, right? I'm not expecting a perfect game for this West Virginia game. And like I said, I'm skeptical that we get a win this weekend. And I can be totally wrong. And I hope I am. It's just having watched Penn State for this long, I've seen these types of games before. One that comes to mind, that road game at Wisconsin a few years ago, we did win, but it was close. And it came
Right.
down to like the final play. Like, it just feels like that type of game to me. And I don't know what the weather is calling for out there. I know in Northern Virginia, it is overcast and been raining the last 2 days. I think that's similar to what it's going
I
to
don't know if
be.
you saw, I just checked my phone because I was thinking the same thing. It looks like it's like a 30% chance of rain throughout most of the day. So could rain, could not. 30% is one of those.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me either way now.
I mean, it's a September Penn State game. I feel like it's always raining.
I mean, technically it's an August. Penn
August,
State
sorry.
game,
Yes, August. My bad.
which makes it even more like you expect
Yeah.
it to rain in August.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that will be a deciding factor too for the run pass balance. Because if it's coming down, I don't think we're gonna pass the ball as much as
Yeah.
if it's, perfectly sunny and nice out. So all in all, I'm excited. Is there anybody you wanted to highlight on West Virginia? I know Garrett Green's coming back. He did not play well against Penn State last year, but
Yeah.
after that, he had a very solid season. He's pretty mobile. I do think he's a consideration. Their running back, Jaheim White, also a decent running back. I'm a little worried about our defense. I mean, losing Manny Diaz, which I loved his defensive schemes, especially
Yeah,
third
agreed.
downs, those blitzes. Like, he utilized our personnel phenomenally. I'm worried we take a step back on defense is my main concern. And having, two new coordinators to start the season, that's a big ask for any team. So what are your thoughts on our defense versus their offense?
Yeah, I think Garrett Green, obviously, like you mentioned, he played so bad against Penn State last year, and it was right away people were calling for the backup, Nico Martial. But Green really turned out to have a really solid season as the year went on, and he was a big focal point in Franklin's press conference the other day. And Dom DeLuca, strong linebacker, Agent Zero, he talked a lot about Garrett Green and how mobile he is. This is a great test again for Penn State's opening week because West Virginia was third in the nation last year in rushing offense, and they returned their two best running backs, Jaheim White and CJ Donaldson. You'll remember Donaldson was the bigger guy. He rushed for almost 100 yards against Penn State. Jaheim White was around 70 yards last year. They both scored touchdowns. This is a great test for Penn State's defense. And like you said, although a lot of the names look the same, the scheme is going to be a little bit different. It's just inevitable that you lose one and you pick up a new coordinator, even if they have been together for 50 years, which they haven't. But if they have, it's still going to be a little bit different. So even though you look at the roster and you look at the names, all these names are familiar other than AJ Harris, who transferred in from Georgia, who's going to start at corner. Other than AJ Harris, all these names are familiar, and it's still going to be different. And the run defense is going to be tested right away, not just because of Green, but because of Jaheim White and CJ Donaldson. And West Virginia's offensive line is really solid. I mean, you got Milcom and Rymick. Hubbard at right guard is a really solid dude. This is a test for Penn State, and because we probably only have Abdul Carter for this season, because he'll be a junior now, so he'll be leaving probably after this year. I'm excited to see what he does. And our depth at linebacker is just crazy because, I mean, Carter is now listed as a D end. Of course, that kind of happened at points last season and in the offseason. But our depth at linebacker is crazy, and we have got to really step that up. Last year, obviously, Jordan, you were big on this. Our depth was so well in the secondary. Our corners and our safeties were so good that it didn't matter that we lost a couple to the draft, that now I think our secondary is still going to be good, even though we aren't as deep as we were last year. Now that depth is our linebackers, and we have got to use our linebackers appropriately with Rojas and Kobe King, and I mean Elsden, and you got Tamir Robinson as a freshman who didn't play very much last year, who's they're really high on. Those are dudes that are going to have to step up because West Virginia is going to pound the rock for sure, without a doubt. They're going to run the ball.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. I wasn't crazy about the Tom Allen hire. I mean, it's tough. He was the Indiana head coach, right? Like,
Right.
what
You
are
get a chance to hire a head coach. It's hard to say no.
right?
Big Ten
Exactly.
experience. I
mean,
do get the hire too. He has to
Yeah.
prove it to some of us Penn State fans, but
Yeah, it's just defensively, I don't know a lot about him, so that's my hesitation. Really, is are we going to see that same level that Manny Diaz brought?
right.
And a lot of people were skeptical of Manny Diaz when we brought him in, myself being one of them. Like, why are we hiring this guy who failed miserably at Miami, right?
Mhm.
Like, but then he was phenomenal. So I'm hoping that's the same, and I'm hoping maybe those certain schemes are in place, or maybe not schemes, but the processes of Penn State football is in place where
Of
it
course.
makes it easy for a guy to transition in and implement similar type defense, do the things right. So that's what I'm hoping for. Let's change gears. Let's go to predictions. I'll let you start off first because I know my prediction is gonna probably piss some people off, but we'll set the stage with you.
I think it's going to be a close game throughout. I think Penn State's going to be in a battle. I think Penn State is the better team, but playing on the road week 1 in a pretty hostile environment in Morgantown, I think Penn State's going to struggle, but I think they find a way to win because we are the better team. So I have Penn State winning it 31-23. And last year was what, 38-15, I think was the final, or 38-13 was the final score, something like that. So I think it'll be much closer this year. I'm saying 31-23, but we find a way to get it done.
All right, I like it. Do you remember what Zach's is, or can you pull his prediction
got
up?
it.
I'll say mine while you're doing that. So
He has Penn State 27-20, so one score game also.
okay, I am going to not be a homer. I think we go on the road and lose. I think it'll be a close game, but I think we are going to lose 24-20. So I think we score, 2 touchdowns, but we can't get over that hump on offense. Can't get the, third and fourth touchdowns to win the game, and we settle for field goals when we drive the whole way to the goal line and just can't put it in. And I think we're going to have a step back on defense. I am worried about the running game. Like you said, West Virginia. I mean, they had 200 yards on us rushing last year, I believe, something close to that.
Yeah.
Those guys are good, and their offensive line is very good. Those few of those guys are going to go to the NFL, I believe, pending this season, obviously.
Yeah, you would
But
think.
I just think, I don't know. I'm just worried, and I'm being kind of pessimistic. I know the bowl game shouldn't be any consideration because we had a lot of our starters sit out, but I was not impressed with our bowl game last year. Left a sour taste, losing at the end of the season in that fashion, not even being close. I'm worried with 2 new coordinators, road game, possible weather conditions. Morgantown's a tougher environment to play in. I know West Virginia fans are ready for this game.
Yeah, they are.
It's a noon game, which I hate. We never play good on the road at noon. I think we're going to start slow, and we're going to be behind early, and it's going to be a struggle to get back. And I hope I'm wrong, honestly. Like, I could be totally off and we can blow them out of the water. I just don't see that being likely. And I think it's a tough way to start this season, to be honest. I would have liked to have at least one cupcake early, or not even a cupcake, maybe a MAC team, just to get our feet under us. Like, starting out on the road, hostile environment, like it's a tough ask. So even for the best teams out there, we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Don't crucify me in the comments, or do. It's fine. I can handle it. I'm an adult.
Hey, we need subscribers. Jordan needs to get internet at his house, so we need some subscribers and
Yes.
some fun and stuff.
I need you guys to pay the bill, you know.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
yeah,
we won't have to go 8 months between episodes if we can get some
Yeah.
subscribers.
yeah, we're trying to make it more consistent. It's just last year was very hectic for all of us, so hopefully we get that consistency down and we can provide you guys more timely content. I know for some of our diehard followers, you guys are probably chomping at the bit, like, what happened to the podcast? You know,
Yeah.
all 3 people who are watching right now probably were very concerned, but we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. I would love for us to just go boat race them. I just don't think it's highly likely. I think it will be a close game, like you were saying, and
Yep,
we'll see.
Before we go here, Jordan, you want to give your overall record prediction for the year? Just since we didn't do a preview, you want to bang out a quick?
Yeah, you want to go first? And
let me pull up the schedule again. I just exited out of it. Let me pull it up just to make so I don't seem like a complete idiot, like I usually do. All right, so at West Virginia, I got win. Bowling Green. Sorry, we play Bowling Springs tonight. Bowling Green win. Kent State win. Illinois win. UCLA win. So starting the year 5-0, I have us. At USC is tough, but I think we find a way. 6-0. Off weekend, and then at Wisconsin. If it wasn't an off weekend, I would take a loss there. So I'm going to say we beat Wisconsin 7-0. Lose to Ohio State 7-1. Beat Washington 8-1. Beat Purdue 9-1, lose at Minnesota Thanksgiving weekend. We find a way. I mean, we just lose that one probably, and we beat Maryland. So we finish. Guess what? 10-2 every year, and I think we probably squeak into the playoffs. I don't know if 10-2 is quite good enough.
Seed.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it'd be cool to be an 8 seed and host a first round game. Beaver Stadium would be going nuts, but. Yeah, we're 10-2. We make playoffs, and we probably lose in the first round.
That's fair. I think we go 9-3. I think we lose this weekend. We lose on the road at USC, and then we lose to Ohio State. And those are 3 losses. And I think this year is going to be crazy for college football, and I think we still make the playoff at 10-3.
9-3, you think so?
Or 9-3. Yes, sorry.
Wow.
I think, especially with these super conferences, looking at some people's schedules, I think it's going to be nuts. Yeah. I think it's going to be crazy. And I think you're going to see a lot of disparity. Am I saying that right? Yeah. Especially in the SEC. Like, I would like to think Georgia is going to be that team that replaces Bama Dynasty. But they have some tough games, and I mean, I know we're gonna do pick'ems here. I think you're gonna see maybe one undefeated team this year, and I think it's gonna be Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I do. That's my bold prediction.
There you go.
But all right, let's knock out the pick'ems quick. Let me pull up the pick'ems schedule here.
I don't remember who I picked.
I know I don't have a graphic because internet capabilities. Uh-oh,
did I lose you again?
All right, can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
So,
I got you.
all right, having some technical difficulties. Are we back?
Yep, I hear you.
All right, perfect. All right, so first game we have for the pick'ems, TCU -8 at Stanford. Across the board, I think we all picked TCU, correct, Devin?
Yep.
So I don't know anything about TCU. I don't know. I know Stanford's terrible. So
That's why I picked
somehow they're playing in the ACC. Makes sense, but whatever. Stone throw from the Pacific Ocean, and they're playing in the Atlantic Coastal Conference. So yeah. Change the name. I don't know what to tell you.
They should have just called it the All Coast Conference. I don't just change it.
All Coast. Very inclusive here.
Yeah.
All right. Second game, which I think is going to be a good one. I know the line does not show that, but 14 Clemson versus number 1 UGA, minus 12 UGA. I'm going with Clemson. I think they pull the upset. I don't have a lot of faith in the Bulldogs, but, I just kind of wanted to go with the upset. And I think Dabo turns it around, maybe. Or he's going to get fired this year. One of two. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Clemson sucks. I think Georgia crushes them. I think Georgia beats them by like 25.
That'd be hilarious.
I got Georgia covering that, yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. And then I know Devin picked, or Zach picked Georgia as well. Then we got number 19, the U.
Against the Gators.
Am I still here?
Yeah, kind of. It was even funnier because you were glitching out, so it was very funny. Uh-oh, now you're gone again.
All right, am I back?
You're back.
I gotta stop doing hand motions. It's messing up the internet.
Yeah, stay calm. Let's run through this so we don't lose you again.
Yeah, I have the Gators.
So do I.
The upset. Yep. And Zach has Miami. Then we got number 7, Notre Dame at 20, TAMU. Texas A&M, 12 man, minus 3. I have Notre Dame because they're going undefeated this year, like I said. So
I have Notre Dame too, but Texas A&M needs this game. I mean, I think Texas A&M needs to win this game for the fan base to not destroy the whole
or
town.
Jimbo Fisher's going to get fired.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, and then we have yeah, I know. It's a joke. Then we have 23 USC versus LSU. Is that game in Baton Rouge or no?
No, it's neutral site.
Oh, gotcha. Where's it located?
It's in Vegas, I think. I'm pretty sure it's in Vegas.
Okay. I am going to take USC in this game. And it's closer to the West Coast. So that's my thought process. I also think USC is going to be a little bit better than some people anticipate. So
yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you about USC. I just they have a tough.
That's all I got.
Schedule.
I know my internet's kind of crapping out here.
Yep.
All right, we good still?
Yeah. Yep. You want to do our sign off and
all right.
Call it.
Yeah. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for joining. Apologies for the internet issues. I should have internet by next week, and then we'll go from there. We'll do a better job for next week's predictions, and maybe we'll do a season preview too. Probably not because, we're busy. But thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to leave us a comment, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Typical YouTube commentary here. That's all I got. Hopefully we get the win this weekend. I don't know what our sign-off is going to be this year. I don't know what I did last year. I can't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah.
It's been about as long as since the last time we won the Big Ten. We do have an outro video.
Oh, yeah. See, there we go. So we don't need a crazy.
That's all I got. Yeah, we don't need a crazy.
Thanks for watching the Nittany No Huddle podcast.
Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
Podcasts are posted weekly on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss one of our new shows.